Hey everybody, Professor Steins here. So I've had a couple questions in the class. I brought up a lot about object-oriented programming and how we can refactor our code for reuse and reuse it, use it, reuse it lots of times. Uh, so this video is kind of go a little bit and talk about that. And basically what I got here is the same kind of concept we're working through the assignments with, which is creating a kind of a cart system to work through, crunch some numbers, and order some products. And so what I got here is I got one that's got three different kind of line items to it. So I've ordered sticks of gum, macs and cheese, steaks and wings, and it kind of adds up all those numbers together to make a total and keep a total in a cart. So in the HTML there's not much there, and really this guy just kind of runs on button click to imprint a receipt. So when I talk about objects, basically objects allow us to encapsulate data, unit test it, kind of solidify it into a way that we can reuse it. Uh, when I talk about one cart or what a line item is, I know kind of exactly where to look at that from. A line item has lots of different properties associated with it, and it can even have functions associated with it. So this is kind of the approach that I took, and that's down here at the bottom, when the page loads, initialize it, and when that happens, go find the button, and when it gets clicked, submit the form. I really want the form to be probably about as simple as I can make it. And for this page, assumedly there would actually be a form tag here with a lot of inputs and stuff. And this is where we would validate it and say if it's valid, then do these things, else show an error message and say that it's not valid. So submit form function is basically just kind of trying to create an array, a blank array, and pushing new objects into it. And these objects are line item objects. And I'm passing in the string that's associated with it, a price, a quantity, and a discount rate. So this array is kind of pushing those objects, and there's three of them being created there. Let's go up and take a look at what line item is. It's going to take in those values and set it as kind of local properties. One of those is going to be total, where it takes, kind of similar to the assignments, it takes the price and multiplies it by the discount rate divided by 100, and then returns a quantity times that amount that gets subtracted off. So by this we get the total for each line item. So sticks of gum, whatever, whatever, and whatever. Each object is kind of on its own, and we can pull out the total for that. There's also an HTML function here that's just returning an HTML list with the different properties included inside of it, including a call to its own total function here. So that's how each individual line item is getting calculated. It doesn't quite happen yet though. First thing that happens is that lines is creating as a blank array, and it's pushing these new line items into it. But the real magic kind of happens in the second object, and that's this one here, where we're passing in sort of like a username, a first and a last name, and the lines, which is going to be an array, and it's got a couple things in it now. When we do that, later on we're going to print it out to the page using a receipt function from the cart. So let's take a look at the cart function here. And that's essentially what it does. It has an AD, first name, last name, kind of similar to line items, is it has a function, and that function loops through the lines and calls that total function for each line item. So that's kind of up here, my line items, this total function. JavaScript's kind of inferring that the object is there, so that's how it calculates the total for that. This is the receipt function where it actually gets printed out onto the page, and it's just marking up some HTML, passing in again some of these, referring to this as total, which was calculated through using this as line items array. And then after that it prints out the separate UL tags, one for each line item. You could do tables or any other HTML markup that you want to. You don't necessarily have to use LIs like I did here. You could do a table tag, maybe each each line item in the table is a TR tag, and then these would be TD tags. And then, here you could make this part of a table, kind of insert a table tag in there instead. And so instead of kind of making it, I guess I just go ahead and go for it, huh? Plus slash table. And then instead of this being a list, this would be a TR, and each of these would be data cells. It's really up to you how you want to format out your receipt so that when the user sees it, it will make sense to them. So this time it should be kind of in a table tag with a bunch of rows in it. I'd still probably need to add my own table header row, maybe kind of after this one. There's some TH tags, product, price. The second number is quantity or price, quantity, discount rate, product price, quantity, discount rate, and percentage. Ooh, it's kind of a long line. Oh, I guess I put them backwards, didn't I? Discount rate, quantity was second. Just need to move that one up. There we go. They were backwards. So quantity 25%. That doesn't make sense. Quantity times 2, price $2, 25%. Total is $3. It's pretty neat. Better seeing it that way. So that's kind of the idea behind an object. So you can kind of use these functions. Making the object is probably a little bit more complicated, but the idea is that when you're using the objects, it's a little bit more easier. That if I want to, as long as I have a cart object, I can call the receipt, and I could specify other ways of building cart objects, maybe off of a database or a data feed, or pass from another page. You could use the arguments object or something. You might want to pull these guys off into their own file and use them as appropriate. Really, kind of a lot of things that you could do with this object, and it could extend it too. You could still keep kind of adding in some new properties, doing some other stuff with it. Anyway, hope it was helpful. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. Have a good one. Bye.